Bullet Club.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time with us. This is Leanne Presents. I'm Leanne, I'm your host for this video, and joining me as always, Alan, my co-host. Yay. As you've seen from the title card, this is our reactions to WWE's most recent premium live event, Payback, which aired on Saturday night, 2nd of September.
2023.
2023.
Just in case anyone in like 10 years is watching this and like,
Yes.
what year?
Let's date it.
You never know. I mean, it's going to be in the description, but you know, hey ho, you never know, right?
So through this video, we'll be going through the highlights of the matches and the finishes and who won. And we will be referring back to our predictions where we predicted who was going to win.
Yep.
So if you want to check that out first, I'll put a link somewhere on the screen to take you to that. As you would expect, this is spoiler heavy, so if you're planning to watch Payback and haven't already, we would advise you to watch that before you watch this, otherwise you'll know all the outcomes. So, that sort of thing. Cool. Before we start, please remember to like this video if you like it and subscribe to the channel, it really helps us out. Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Alright, we open the show with...
Well, first off, my first thought, when I went to see how long the pay-per-view, premium live event was, it's 3.5 hours nearly for 6 matches. I worked it out. If they literally go back to back, only bell to bell, that's 34 minutes per match. That's not going to happen.
No chance.
So, from that idea, I took the runtime.
Okay.
I took the timings of all the matches, and I've worked out how much of this was filler.
Ooh.
So at the end of this video, in our final thoughts, I will tell you the result of exactly how much time is entrances and filler.
Look forward to that.
And I will do the same for All Out tomorrow, and we will see. I should have worked out percentage. Yeah, carry on. Start going. I'll work out the percentage now while we're doing this. So
we have the usual kind of introduction video package where it showcases a bit of the place that they're in, which is Pittsburgh for this event, and some of the matches. It sort of goes through a bit of a recap. We get a bit of recap overload, but that's nothing new for WWE. Notably, we don't see John Cena doing anything to introduce. He's the host. We found out on SmackDown that he would be hosting Payback. I think it was on SmackDown, or was it earlier?
No, it's SmackDown.
It was SmackDown. But he doesn't come out, so that's fine. We do go straight into then our first match, which is Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a cage match. Good times.
Yep.
So they do cut to Tiffany Stratton, who's the NXT champion, at ringside before the match starts, which is a nice touch. I don't know anything about her. She looks interesting.
She's the NXT Women's Champion at the moment, so.
Okay.
There it is.
So some highlights of this match then, while you're doing maths.
Got it.
There was quite a cool moment where Trish uses the Widow's Peak.
Yeah.
And shortly after, Becky uses Twist of Fate, which is their way of paying homage to the first women's cage match in WWE, which was between Lita and Victoria.
Yeah.
And those two moves were their moves.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool to see. There's sort of a nod to the history of cage matches going into it. Nice moment. There was a fun moment. Trish was playing escape the whole time. Because obviously one of the ways to win is to escape the cage. And it can be the easiest way for a coward. So she does climb up to the top. She does get nearly out of the cage, but Becky follows her up. She gets her legs like underneath the support
strut thing,
at the top.
into the gaps in it, I guess, or whatever.
Between the poles.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And ends up like falling backwards, so she's like dangling headfirst down out of the cage, which is quite fun. She does. Becky pulls her. Hang on, getting the wrong bit again. Always reformatted my notes and still get stuck. She pulls herself up, but Becky then managed to suplex her from the top rope. Well, Trish is on the top of the cage all the way down, which is quite cool. Doing stuff with the cage. I like it. Zoe Stark does get involved.
Sorry. Doing stuff with the cage. That's all they've been doing. There was so many face grinds and jamming people and just throwing each other into the cage. It was ridiculous. Like,
but at least that was something different.
Well, no. The problem is, it was at the start, and then they just kept on doing it, and it's like, this is boring.
It's a lot.
This
Which is
so
why
boring.
the top of the cage dangling off.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that before, so it's nice that they did do something different.
But it took them quarter of an hour to get to that point.
It did.
After numerous times of throwing each other into the mesh, and then doing the whole face grind thing. If you need to do a slow down bit, and you're trying to slow down the match because someone's gassed, probably Trish Stratus, and you don't do the face grind thing all the time, go for a front face lock, a chin lock, an armbar, do something in the middle of the ring to slow it down. Don't go back to the same thing numerous times in a match, because it's obvious, it's forced, and it's boring.
Yep, agreed. Cool. Another cool moment was when Zoe Stark does get involved. It took longer than I expected for her to come down.
Yeah, I expected her to come out with Trish at the beginning.
I thought so. So you've got Trish nearly out of the door, and Becky grabs the legs to try and pull her back in. Zoe turns up and pulls the arms to pull her out. So then you got this tug of war back and forth with Trish in the middle getting stretched. But eventually it just looks like Zoe gives up to me. And I think it looked like that to Trish as well. But out she goes. After a little ball back and forth then, we come to the finish. So Zoe gets in the cage to interfere. Trish tries to make an escape, but Becky catches her. She's trying to climb over again. Becky catches her, pulls her down, lands a manhandle slam off the top rope, and pins her to win.
Yep.
And Zoe's there, just like, whoops. She did get pretty beat up though, so yeah, there we go. That's the finish.
Yeah.
How'd we do?
We won. We got that one right. Another dodgy moment. What I was trying to work percentages. The dodgy moment is that Matrix maneuver where Trish Stratus does the kind of backwards thing, and she's just staying there, and it's like, well, you're clearly waiting for it. It must have been like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And she's still there, and it's like
the falling back into a bridge, really impressive.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, nice one, but staying there for ages, not smart.
She was clearly waiting for the spot for
she
Becky
was.
to come and hit or whatever it was.
Definitely.
I can't remember what it was.
So this was definitely not the best cage match I've seen.
The crowd was dead.
By a long way. Crowd was pretty dead.
They had a pipe-in chant.
They did seem to have pipe-in chant.
They piped in a "This is awesome" chant, which was clearly fake, because none of the crowd on the camera, you could see on the hard cam, were even doing anything.
Yeah, it sort of started and ended more suddenly than is natural.
Yeah. A "This is awesome" chant doesn't start at its peak. It kind of ramps up, and you can hear part of the crowd joining in. This was literally, boom, this is awesome, entire crowd. Despite the fact you could see, and it's "This is awesome," and you could see all the hard cam were just like...
Yeah, just sitting there, just chatting.
So who was chanting?
Probably a select few. What I did find funny after this match is the commentary team saying, this is definitely a contender for match of the year.
I'd be interested to see what Dave Meltzer rates this when it comes out.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And considering even just in WWE over this year, there have been some bangers. This is not one of them. Straight
up, I can name you one right off the top of my head that happened on the weekly show a couple of weeks back, Sheamus versus Edge.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that tops this match by leaps and bounds.
It really does.
Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley at... Oh, was it Backlash? I think it was Backlash. I think
so.
The one in Puerto Rico. I think it was Backlash. That was much better than this.
Yeah. I completely get that the commentators, they need to build it, get people interested, get people excited. So they are going to say that stuff is good. Perfectly acceptable. But saying match of the year is such a massive, massive leap that they've really got to reserve that for something actual special.
Well, you shouldn't mention it at all. You shouldn't mention it at all because it's not the company's thing to say.
No,
it's the fan vote, right?
It really is.
And then, like, you've got to kind of curb that expectation as well, a sense of, oh, well, this is clearly match of the year, even though it was an absolute dud. The crowd wasn't in it. It was awful.
People pick up, like we picked up on that, and I literally laughed out loud.
But the point is, like, they're going from, like, this is where the match is. They're trying to hype it up here. That's like going, what's his name? Chin Boy. James Ellsworthy is going to come in, and he's going to beat Roman Reigns for that title. it's in the same ballpark. It's never going to happen, and this match is never going to get match of the year. No, it's in that same ballpark. You're going from the lowest of lows, trying to push it as the highest of highs. Oh yes, this is going to happen. It's going to get match of the year, and James Ellsworthy is nowhere in hell going to beat Roman Reigns for that title. That's the likeness I put to it.
Okay. So after this match, Zoe and Trish are left in the ring. Trish is trying to sort of be nice, be friendly, but no, sorry, Zoe is.
Zoe is, yeah.
Trish is not.
Trish is kind of like, where were you? And I think Zoe was like, I was here.
And then Trish slaps Zoe in the face. Zoe is not happy about this, so hits a Z360, not Z. They say Z, don't they? Z360 on Trish and leaves.
It's not Zoe Starks. It's Zoe.
It's not Zoe. Your logic is flawed.
Yeah. No, my mouth is flawed.
You had Trish yelling at her to get out. She did after hitting that move. So that friendship's done.
Let's hope this whole bloody storyline's done and Trish is going to go back to retirement.
Let's hope so. It's filler time.
Whee!
Merch ad.
Yeah.
Ad for live events.
Yeah.
And a Nakamura promo video repeat.
Oh yeah, the same stuff we've seen on Raw. Yeah.
Fine. Next match. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Versus Miz.
Awesome.
But before the match does start, Cena comes out. It's all part of it. He's the host, so he's got to be
there's music playing, the crowd's going nuts, but I don't know what they were looking at. I don't know, I couldn't see anything.
I do find it a bit weird that Cena's come out at this point, because he's the host of the show, so really should introduce the start of the show.
So what you're saying is Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus was pre-show?
That's what it feels like.
That's right.
He did reference it. He very deliberately said, wasn't that a great first match? And all this stuff.
No, it wasn't.
That was the whole thing.
Thanks for trying, but no.
So Cena introduces the event and announces that he's going to be the special ref for this match, which is really good. Crowd's happy.
But he's like, I think, didn't he say I want to be a special referee? And then the Miz turns up and he's like, funny enough, I'm refereeing your match. Was it like that?
He said he was going to do it.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember, I couldn't.
Miz does come out and start saying, you can't do that. You're a terrible host. You can't just say that you're going to be the referee and all this. They have a back and forth. It's quite comical. It's fun.
Yeah.
It goes on for a while, but it's still fun. So
like the Miz is really underrated.
Yeah, he is. It ends up basically Miz talking himself into having Cena as a referee in his match. So it was great. And then we come to actual the match. I'm going with it.
Boom.
I did enjoy this match. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So a couple of highlights. We have LA Knight slamming Miz into the announce desk.
Oof, yeah.
That's always a good one. And while this is happening, because they're on the outside, they should be being counted out. But Cena's just kind of going 1, 2, 3, which is just, we were criticising its ref style.
And the problem is with that is that you could see LA Knight slams the Miz and he's kind of like...
He's looking, because he can't hear, because usually the refs are really over the top yelling the numbers so everyone can hear it, but he does not. Nope. LA Knight rolls back into the ring, goes up to Cena and just yells, yeah, in his face, and then rolls back out to restart the count. That was fun. That was great. I really liked it. There was a really close call where, in turn, both Miz and Knight almost hit John Cena.
You could see Cena as well. He was
like ready to punch back.
Sort of tensing up, which is cool.
But so because of that, Knight goes to hit second, almost gets the hit, and with that distraction, he's like, oh, sorry. Miz hits a skull-crushing finale on him, and it's such a close call.
It really was,
really close. Very near full. So that was fun. Gets up that tension.
Yeah.
For sure. We were both like, that's what you want. You want a little bit of genuine reaction.
Because LA Knight did kind of threaten Cena as well. I think he was before that, and he was kind of like, he gets his shirt, he's like, I don't care if your referee's grabbing his shirt. He's like, I don't care if you've got this on.
This means nothing to me.
Yeah, this means... And I think I mentioned at that point we were watching it, it's like, this is really reminiscent of old Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. He's the anti-hero. He's that... he's almost like Frank Castle, Punisher.
Yeah.
He's doing what he wants that he perceives as good, and it doesn't matter who's in his way.
Yeah. He's anti-authority.
Yeah, anti-authority.
But still, trying to do the right thing kind of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Which is great. And then we get to the finish, where, now, I'm going to be embarrassed because I can't remember the name of John Cena's finishing move.
Oh, no, that's the 5-knuckle shuffle. That's not his finishing.
Oh, well, that one.
Yeah.
The Miz sort of goes to do that, mocking Cena, quite obviously. But LA Knight catches him, hits the big elbow, followed by a blunt force trauma, and pins Miz to win.
Boom, yeah.
That's good. There was some really good countering in this match, a lot of back and forth, and having Cena as the guest referee, they used him for his character as well as for the referee, which is a great way of doing it. I don't think it always comes across when you got a special referee.
I'm kind of wondering who's going to get the match against him. Is it going to be The Miz or LA Knight?
Well, after this match, you end up at the top of the ramp at the entrance with LA Knight and Cena facing off, and they do shake hands, but LA Knight's saying things like, "This is happening now, we're going to do this now." So I think LA Knight's getting that match.
And to be fair, LA Knight is a SmackDown guy, and Cena has been publicised for being appearing on SmackDown for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So I'm all in for this match. I don't really like Cena's wrestling style.
No.
But I think LA Knight would get one hell of a rub off of Cena for this.
Sure, yeah.
And he's already up here.
Yeah.
And you face Cena, and he's just going to keep on going, you know? He's going to go to the stratosphere.
For sure.
Or as Cameron Grimes would say, to the moon! Who we haven't seen in months, by the way.
No, we haven't. You're right. There you go. Great match. I enjoyed that
And
one.
we had that prediction right because we both predicted L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
To win. Yeah. Yeah, I really like this one. I thought it was an awesome match.
Yeah.
Miz got some really good stuff in. L.A. Knight got some really good stuff in.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't see the Miz often wrestle in a match like this. It's usually like it's Akira Tozawa or someone stupid like that. But then some of the offense he was getting in this was solid gold. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like that spinning DDT off the ropes. Like, what the hell? That was nuts.
Very cool.
And then Michael Cole's like, it was a spinning neck breaker. And then literally 2 minutes later, Corey Graves watched the replay goes, oh, look at the spinning DDT. I think it may be time for Michael Cole to retire.
It must be such a hard job calling matches on the fly. But
it was clearly a
DDT.
Clearly a DDT, though. You can tell the difference between a DDT and a neck breaker.
Like, I couldn't, but I'm not trained to be
Usually, with a neck breaker, you land with that part on the shoulder or an arm or something because you're trying to jack the neck back. Yeah. A DDT, top of the head. It was clearly a DDT. And someone who's been in the business for 30-odd years, what 98, so we 25 years, should know the difference between a neck breaker and a DDT.
You really should.
Sorry, Michael Cole, but he's making a lot of mistakes recently.
He is.
Really is.
All right. A little bit of filler. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
They
great. Awesome.
Show the picture of the pitch. I think there might be some matches happening. I don't know. And then there's some of them in the crowd. Cool.
So, this is something that bugs me with WWE, and they do it all the friggin' time, and I hate it, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone around the world watches NHL, NFL, NBA, NBC, ABC, 396, whatever. I don't care.
American sports.
XYZ, LMNO, PQRST, whatever. We are some of those people. Yeah. So when they're making sports references, including in the matches, which we'll talk about in a bit, if it's just like, oh, well, that's completely lost, that's pointless. Head, What the hell? Why do we need to know about this?
Yeah.
I feel that putting that in there is pointless.
Yeah.
For 90% of the world.
I get, like, in promos where they're getting the cheap heat by insulting a town sports team when they're in the town.
You can kind of get it, yeah.
It's very direct to the crowd that's there. Great. But for this, the crowd aren't seeing that advert. They might see the Steelers that come up on the screen when they show them. But this is for a worldwide audience at the end of the day. You're not getting any rub or heat from it, so... But it's sponsorship, isn't it? It's probably
maybe
some mutual deals.
So All In, right? Kind of switching gears, slight tangent. Okay, AEW All In, we were there last week for literally a week ago for the 0 hour and stuff. During the 0 hour stuff, when they were obviously pushing showing the match build-ups and stuff for doing 0 hour, they were like, don't forget, you can watch the Jackson Jaguars, blah, 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 and you can watch this football team, blah, blah, blah. That was it. And it wasn't even on the show. It wasn't on the pre-show. It was only for the live crowd. That was it. They didn't put anything on the main show. They didn't put anything on the pre-show about any other sport. Because it's WWE. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. It's not World Football Entertainment. It's not World Hockey Entertainment. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. Stick to the wrestling.
Agreed. Yeah. Next match!
Sorry, I just had to get that in because it really annoys me.
Yeah, it does. Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Bum. Good match.
Yeah, it was decent.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was decent. It was quick.
One thing I hated, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm pretty sure it was a Rey Mysterio match before.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Luckily, they didn't have the mascots this time. It was just the very bright screens on the entrance and on the barriers for the crowd. It's just distracting. It's such a bright thing.
Yeah.
And I know it's sponsorship, but it's so obvious then that they're just like, we're getting money from people, yay. So
I think it was all the way at Backlash.
I reckon if they're going to keep doing the Cinnamon Toast Crunch thing, they need a Cinnamon Toast Crunch match. There'll be boxes and bowls of the cereal all over the place. The mascots will get involved.
Do you know the last time we saw that and yet it's stuck in your mind was WrestleMania? And yet it's stuck in your mind that much.
It's so bright.
It really is. And then they were doing the insurance one as well, and it was like, this is just awful.
Oh my goodness.
I get sponsorships, but come on.
At the end of the day, again, I've said it in the predictions, the premium live event, you either subscribe or you pay to watch. So why are we getting ads? Anyway, the match. Couple of highlights. Theory trying to pull Rey's mask off. They played that really well, I think. Sometimes it looks too much like they're not really trying. Or it's this way, it kind of looked like he could have easily gotten it off. Rey needs to start doing the chin straps up, though, because he's kind of asking for it.
Well, the fun thing about that, in my mind, was that we were watching him sort of struggle to keep his mask on, and it looked really sturdy, and it looked thick, and we were like, it's not leather, it's not latex, what the hell is it made of? And we found out, I googled it, 80% polyester and 20% lycra are all his masks.
Because Rey's like got his fingers through the eye holes to hold it down. It's not like stretching, it's not breaking, so it's the sturdy stuff. Good
Fair play, yeah.
Good things. There was a moment where both of them were down in the ring, like opposite ways. And I got a bit
kind
annoyed.
of like one of the legs was like this.
Scissoring.
I mean, it wasn't far off it. Yeah.
Rey's leg was on.
No, it was the other way around, I think, wasn't it? Was it Austin Theory that was?
Rey's leg was on Theory.
Oh,
it was across his leg and part of his stomach. To me, that's a pin. That's cover. Ref one counting. And you were wondering whether it was because both men's shoulders were down, but there was it on?
It was all in.
All in. So maybe it's different between the companies, perhaps. But at that point, both men's shoulders down, both covered, both counted.
With the Adam Cole MJF thing, it was a double clothesline and their arms were draped over.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something to do with it.
Maybe,
I don't know.
But there's been covers.
No,
with
I know.
Before.
I know.
So I don't know.
I know.
Maybe he just fell wrong and he wasn't supposed to be touching, so the ref let it go. Or maybe in the ref's view, because Rey was out of it.
It wasn't a dominant pin.
He wasn't sort of in control of it, therefore wasn't a pin. So there might be a reason, but at the time, it gets to me. And then we've got the finish, unless you've got anything else to add in between. Theory goes for A-Town down, but Rey stops him and rolls him up for a very quick pin. It's a quick ending,
it's a very unsatisfying ending.
It was not the most unsatisfactory of this show, but we'll get to that later on. I did quite enjoy watching this match. I feel like Rey put on a really good show. I feel like we've seen him wrestle, that's fine, but he seemed to have a bit more pep in it this time. I think a bit more to maybe how everyone else sees him with the hype, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
and I mentioned this during the match. I think the 619's overdone.
Yeah, they do.
It really is. Like, I get it. It's a signature move, but
it's in his theme song. It's got to do it.
My God, it's overused.
It is. It's either only Rey's allowed to use it, or save it for the special moments. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, not bad.
So I predicted Austin Theory to win. You predicted Rey Mysterio to win. Therefore, I got that one right, and you got that one incorrect.
Sad. So Theory's now again the champion.
No, he's not.
Oh, hang on.
Oh wait. No, sorry, other way around. Sorry. You predicted Theory. I predicted Rey. Sorry.
Rey's still
that's
the
my
champion.
bad. Yeah, that's my bad. I
Got
read the note. Yeah, I read the notes wrong. My bad. Yeah. So I got that right. Leanne did not. That's the main takeaway from this.
That's the main takeaway, yeah. Okay, you ready for some more filler?
Whee!
It's only one bit. Interview backstage with Becky Lynch, which doesn't happen because in comes Tiffany Stratton, who interrupts and basically she's scouting out the competition and wants a piece of Becky. And Becky's very matter-of-factly telling her to get back in her Mattel box. She's very Barbie-like, I think.
Yeah. So does that mean Becky's going to head back to do NXT, or does that mean Tiffany Stratton's coming to Raw?
They were saying when they showed Tiffany in the crowd, they were saying she was scouting out the talent on the main roster. So I feel like they might be prepping for her to come up.
But the problem I've got with that is Indy Hartwell was champion.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted her and had her drop the title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, obviously because of an injury as well. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire were tag team champions. They had them come up to the main roster and instantly lose the titles.
And where are they now?
Exactly, yeah. So this means that, I'm going to be the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. Well, if you get drafted to Raw, you're probably going to be sat in catering for 3 months. So,
terrible.
Okay. Everyone bitches about the AEW Women's Division. The WWE Women's Division is worse, in my mind.
Yeah, they have a few great talents.
And they always rest on those talents.
And then the great talents coming up don't get a look in.
At least with AEW, you've got talents like Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, even Taya Valkyrie.
You do have a number of rotating talents that you can use.
Like Sky Blue's coming, she's just gotten so hot so quick. And it's like, they've like, let's put the rocket on her. They haven't given her a title, but they've been giving her opportunities and they've been putting her in high profile matches.
Yeah. Okay. Next match. We've got the Pittsburgh Steel City Street Fight. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Easy for you to say. Between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Finn Balor and Damien Priest.
Of?
Judgment Day.
4.
I was getting to it. You're interrupted. For the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
Alright, before this match even starts, they're promoting football again. Let's move on.
You'd swear that WWE's being bought by the NFL or the NHL or whatever the hell it is at this point, wouldn't you?
It's during their entrance. Come on. It was during the entrance of Sami and Kevin Owens and they're just promoting football. No, thank you. Fair enough, do it in the filler if you have to.
Everybody likes football. No, incorrect.
Nope. But saying that when this match gets started is great.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Couple of highlights. You've got the trash can spot. There were a few, but my favourite one is when it's like the slapstick moment, the trash can on Finn Balor. So he's just like walking around with it on him, and KO and Sami both have kendo sticks, bashing it to pieces. It's great fun. It's good. Okay?
Yeah, you go.
Checking the notes?
Yeah.
They do go into the crowd for a little bit. And at that point, Dominic Mysterio joins in the fight.
Yeah. Dirty Dom.
It's quite a nice moment where you've got the three of them then, the three of Judgment Day, regrouping, and you can hear them saying what their plan is now and what they're about to do, which I don't remember seeing that so explicitly before, but it's quite good. They've been like on the back foot. Dominic's come in, giving them a break so they can have a chat and decide what they're going to do. Unfortunately for them, the crowd notices that behind them, Sami and KO have reappeared in hockey gear with hockey sticks and beat them up to the entrance ramp.
And the gloves for that as well. I think they're gloves on too.
Yeah, they got the gloves and the jerseys and everything. It was quite fun. I think at one point Dominic takes one of the sticks and then he's like, what have I done? And then they get him.
So yeah, they kind of like throw the gloves off or something. It's like, right, the gloves are off.
At this point, we did notice that Kevin Owens seemed to be bleeding from the head.
There's quite a lot as well.
Quite a lot. And we were just talking to each other saying, when did that happen? How did that happen? Yeah. But sometimes that happens. You don't know where someone's got hit because it might happen off camera, all this stuff. So we didn't think much of it. And we'll come back to that. There's one point where Kevin Owens breaks a pin up by throwing a chair at them, which is very creative. And at that point, we noticed There's no blood in it.
And there's literally like less than 4 minutes between seeing the Crimson Mask and that happening, I believe, give or take.
Clean face. We were like looking, because
it's like, did we imagine this?
If you've been bleeding that much, it was literally like dripping down past his eyes. If you're bleeding that much, it doesn't stop quick. What it does do is it dries quickly.
Yeah.
And then it's really hard to get off. Even if you wipe it, you will get like,
you'll get smudges, or because I mean, you've got the forehead creases. You'd have it in the forehead creases. You'd have it all around your eyes. Any parts of the mouth that's gone in, and his beard, you would have seen it.
There was a smudge by there, maybe.
Tiny bit,
but there was no sign of a cut. And for the rest of the match, no blood at all.
And seeing as he's taking bumps and hitting his head and dropping back, the skin as you hit would shift.
Yeah,
that would stay open.
Just moving your eyes could open it back up at that stage, you know?
A la John Moxley.
Exactly. So our conclusion, they want to get colour without blading and without hard way opening up. So they're trying out using fake blood, and it didn't quite...
I really hope that isn't the case.
I can't think what else it could be.
Because he was bone dry as well. Because like, my thought process, he must have bottle of water, towel, washed it off. His face was like, I mean, is this going to be something like, well, if he used a towel, his face will be dry. But yeah, but you also sweat in a match.
Yeah, it wouldn't come off clean. It'd be in the eyebrows and all sorts.
It would be all over the place, yeah.
Yeah, there would be a trace
there was nothing. He was clean.
Nothing. So I thought he might have wiped it off on the jersey. Jersey was clean as well.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird.
It was a bright yellow jersey, you would have noticed it.
I feel like... Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're going to use fake blood, fine, but maybe try it out on some house shows or something.
Not on a premium live event.
And make it... Only use it if it's going to look right, if it's going to look real.
Yeah.
Or just don't. If you want it to be clean, keep it clean.
Yeah.
Because even fake blood... For kids, if they don't realise it's fake, they're still going to have the same impact on them as if it is opening hard way or blading. So, I don't know, you can't have it both ways.
Nope.
But yeah, so I've written KO's magical blood.
He's a unicorn.
Yeah, he's a unicorn. Yeah, there's key to eternal life. Let's get it. Of the highlights, there's a few in this one, because you would with a street fight. There's plenty of stuff going on.
Plus there's 4 great talents, to be fair.
Yeah, really is.
Well, and the rest.
So KO and Dominic are out in the stands, or on the floor. Out with
they're
the
on
fans,
the ringside, I think, was it?
They're near one of the like entrance ways where the fans would go in. Yes, and you get Dominic gets put onto a table, and then we're like, he's not gonna, but he does. So Kevin Owens climbs up through the stands onto a balcony type thing above the entranceway and hits a swanton bomb from there. Is high. Right through Dominic, right through the table.
I'd say it was maybe 10, 12 foot.
It's gotta be, yeah. Gotta be.
Up to the railing, maybe even 13 or 14.
Gotta love Kevin Owens.
That was nuts.
It is nuts. JD McDonough does get involved. He comes out to break up a pin attempt from Sami, which is fine. Good. We thought he would get involved, weren't sure when.
Yeah.
And then we also have Rhea getting involved, which is great.
Thing is, it's no disqualification, so anything goes, right?
Can do anything. So Rhea spears Kevin Owens through the timekeeper's area, which is great. Good stuff. You love a bit of Rhea Ripley. And we're like, you've got to be careful. You've got a match soon.
Yeah. She's already in her gear as well.
Yes.
I was like, your match is potentially next. What are you doing?
Anything you want to go through before we get to the finish?
Nope.
No. Awesome. So, Sami hits a haluva kick on Finn Balor.
Phil Balor?
Phil Balor.
Phil. All right, Phil.
All right, Phil. And pins him, but Dominic breaks it up with a briefcase.
To the back of the head.
To the back of the head. Finn just like rolls over.
Yeah.
So he's pinning Sami. 3 count. And Judgment Day, the new champs.
Judgment Day, every member holds gold.
They do.
Yeah!
Plus a briefcase.
Plus a briefcase, yeah.
Or we could get Damien with 3 belts.
Damien 3 belts.
Damien 3 belts.
See, we both got that one wrong, and I'm kind of gutted because I wanted Judgment Day to win, and that should have been my pick because I've wanted Judgment Day to win some more titles.
We've been jaded by WWE's decision making for so long. I love that we were surprised by this.
So at this point, then, because the whole prediction was based around the Superstar Spectacle happening in India this week. Does that mean that Sami Zayn and KO are still going to go fight in the show, even though it's not for the titles? Or are they going to make it a triple threat? Or is it going to be Judgment Day versus Indus-Sher? So we've got 2 heel teams against each other?
It's very interesting.
But then Indus-Sher will get cheered in India, right?
Yes.
So maybe that's the reasoning behind it.
Maybe.
I don't know. Either way, I'm happy Judgment Day won.
Yes.
Even though we got the prediction wrong, I'm happy that Judgment Day won.
Yay, we got some surprises.
So we got the women's, as it stands right now, in the course of the event, the Women's Heavyweight Championship, or the Women's World Championship rather, you've got the North American Championship and the Undisputed Tag Team Championships now, and obviously Senior Money in the Bank.
Yep. Whoa, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. It's exactly, this match was exactly what you want from a street fight. There's plenty of action.
A lot of moving
Pacing
parts.
was great. A lot of interference and a surprise finish.
It was the second longest match on the card, and it didn't even feel like it.
Great.
Which is what you want.
And it almost made me forget about the weird blood thing, but not quite.
Not quite. Okay.
All right, let's get some filler down our throats. First one we can forgive. It was about Cancer Awareness Month and Connor's Cure.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's fine.
Pediatric Awareness Month is September, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, no problem with that. Go for it. We definitely want any charity support that they're doing to be on the front page.
Yeah.
Then they bring it all the way down with an advert for those stupid NFL belts. Which they brought out belts for the NFL teams.
So this is quite funny because then I did see a news article, and it's going to be a very brief thing. All 32 teams have a belt. So apparently there's 32 teams in the Football League and NFL, National Football League, NFL. Jacksonville Jaguars had their belt pulled from the store with the Fanatics Experience, who's the company that owns and sort of does the websites and stuff, saying that it sold quicker than expected. The truth behind it is it got pulled because the Jackson Jaguars is owned partly by Shad Khan and his son, Tony Khan, who is, and also with Shad Khan, the co-owner of AEW.
Yeah.
So they basically were giving money to the Jacksonville Jaguars for the WWE, obviously because there's going to be commissions coming off the belt. To the Jacksonville Jaguars, but AEW or Tony Khan would have been like, right, hang on a minute. Why have we got our product being sold by our competitors? Screw that. Pull it.
Yeah.
And I really want to see a lawsuit for copyright infringement.
They must
and
have,
breach of contract.
They should have had permission from the team.
Yeah, apparently there wasn't any. A lot of the teams supposedly didn't even know about the belts.
Because it was all done through NFL up top.
Head office, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Rather than the management of the teams themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Who should own the copyright of their logos and name and everything.
So I really want to see Shad Khan file a lawsuit against WWE for this and win, because that would be amazing. That would shut some of the WWE marks up, wouldn't it?
It would. Okay, then we have an ad for NXT No Mercy, which is their premium live event coming up. Fair enough.
I haven't seen NXT in years.
And then it's sort of linked into the next segment. There's a Cody Rhodes video package.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that leads into the next segment as well.
Yeah. Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. Sorry, yeah, it's not a match. It's just a talk show. This is fine. My favourite line, though, which made me almost start liking Grayson Waller, but not enough. I'm not going to fight in front of these beautiful trees.
Yeah.
It's good. They got the palm trees set up, and Cody Rhodes is basically asking whether Grayson Waller's up for a fight or something because he's talking rubbish at him.
Smack.
But no, not in front of those trees. You would never.
Won't somebody think of the trees?
Oh. And then we come to the crux of the matter, the announcement that Cody's apparently got and why he specifically asked for a Grayson Waller effect on this event. He announces that there's a new signee to the Raw roster. Someone you'll be familiar with. Jey Uso.
Main event Jey Uso.
Main event Jey Uso. Who comes out to the most shocking entrance music.
It's a really rubbish remix of the Usos theme song, basically.
They seem to have re-recorded it badly.
Yeah.
But now they're saying it's something like, it's just me, day one-ish, or something like that. So it's, just get your own music.
If I'm honest, I didn't even clock most of the music because I was just thinking what a wasted opportunity this is.
It really is. He's been gone for
3 weeks.
3 weeks since he said he's quit WWE.
Not even
forever.
a month. We were at Bloodstock when it happened.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And then, I'm back. I'm just on the other brand. Okay.
What they should have done is burned it out for another month.
Yeah.
And then have Cody in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then have him come out and save him.
Surprise
and then at the end of the match, be like, this is the new Raw member of the roster.
Yeah.
Now instead, we got Jey Uso.
Do you know what it might be? They need someone from the Usos or the Reigns family to be on every show, and they didn't have anyone else.
Probably. But that is not bowing down. That's what Uso's gimmick now is, apparently, and he's gotten the entire crowd to do it, and it's like, this is just...
Waving cat arms.
And he kind of looked like he was drunk.
It's those creepy waving cats. I hate those things so much. Cool. So then...
Waste of a segment.
You've got Waller doing what Waller does.
And that was about 10, 12 minutes, I think we timed it as.
Waller just, talks rubbish at Jay, smack talk, and then Jay super kicks him. Jay's sort of movement was a bit weird. I don't think he quite knew what was going on. He felt a bit off.
Yeah.
He was picked up the mic and then he was putting it down. He was wandering in the trees for a bit. But the super kick hit on Mark, so he can't have been too out of it. Yeah. Maybe
it didn't, and it was just a good camera angle.
They
shot it from behind Grayson.
Waller, yeah. And that brings me to your favourite segment.
Already?
Your favourite segment of the show. Leanne signs of the PLE. Leanne signs of the PLE. Ha! So, first of all, we'll give a special mention. I didn't get to read the whole sign because it was written in quite thin pen. But we noticed it during Becky Lynch's match. As she was leaving, she signed someone's sign. And it had tick boxes, and we think the first one was beat cancer.
Absolutely was the first one, yeah. It was something about paybacks, maybe go to payback.
Yeah, go to payback, tick.
I'd imagine the bottom one is meet someone or something, but we didn't catch it.
Yeah, or have my sign signed or something. The only thing that I was like, is that we only saw Becky Lynch sign it. So I'm hoping they then maybe got that fan into the back.
I reckon they will have.
To meet the other stars, because that's just something.
Becky clocked it, and I reckon she would have gone back and said, look, there's a fan in the front. He needs to come backstage.
Yeah, that's just something so special.
It's hard to gauge children's ages, but I'd say 8, 9, maybe 10 at a push.
Yeah, it's cool.
He was quite young.
Yeah,
and to have cancer at that age, that's just
terrific. But he beat it.
Go on, kid. You got it.
So then we come to the top 3 signs of the PLE. In third place, Trini flag guy is better than green shirt guy. No. Which is incorrect, but okay.
Both are great. Green shirt guy over Trini flag guy.
Green shirt guy is more established for longer. I think we see him more often, so he's up there for us. And his shirt's got a smiley face on it, so... But they do seem to be friends now. I don't know if they were before.
She's just biased because she's got green hair.
I'm biased. I like green, apparently. It was nice to see they were both there. They were sat next to each other and seemed to be quite pally. I don't know if they knew each other before they started going to these events, but
in my head canon, they kind of had a bit of a rivalry at first, and then they're like, you know what are we fighting for? And then they're close friends.
Best friends. I love it. In second place, bring back the 30-day title defense rule.
Hell yes.
Yes, please. Mainly on the list because we agree. And in first place...
Because screw Roman Reigns.
Austin, I am a moron theory.
Oh dear God. Really?
Yes.
That's the top of your list.
It's great.
It is great.
It's so good.
But that's also like saying the sky is blue.
It's very fresh. I haven't seen it before, and it's given someone a nickname. So now he's always going to be Austin. I am a moron theory to me.
I did clock a really bad The Miz eats corn the long way, and it was so compressed, and it looked awful. The words were too thick, and it's just like stop
doing it
with the corn signs.
Stop it.
It's really old already. Okay.
It's not original. It's not funny. Boring.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
The only way that works is if you use corn, but use the corn logo from the band.
And then you've got like the picture of the wrestler.
Like Jonathan Davis and
like
Fieldy. Well, yeah, but then the corn is an amalgamation of all the heads. You got Fieldy and Monkey and Jonathan Davis. And they make up the corn cob. And that's the only way it works.
Now you need to make that sign. Next time we go to an event.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Cool. Thank you for watching the ant signs of the PLE, the ant signs of the PLE. Clap. Which brings us to... So the reason I put it there, just so you know that I'm not being random, is that our second place sign, the 30-day title defense one, was shown during this.
Yeah, when you said that, I clocked why you were doing that.
Mm-hmm. So this match is for the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Tumbleweed.
I've got back and shoulders.
When she was doing her entrance, there was one person in the crowd, like, a little bit behind her over her shoulder. And she was just like, yeah, for the whole time. And I love it. She was having such a great time.
I guess every superstar's got to be someone's favourite, I guess.
Yeah, she was just flexing so much.
But then, I don't know if you've got it in your notes, but when Rhea was making her entrance and Raquel was in the ring, you were like, she just looks bored. She's just like...
She was trying to look stern. I'm pretty sure she was trying to look, like, focused. But she did just look bored.
That was my face for most of this pay-per-view. Sorry, PLE.
Apart from a couple of good matches.
Yeah.
But this one, not one of those good matches. It wasn't...
Unfortunately.
There wasn't anything necessarily wrong with it.
Yeah, there just wasn't anything that stood out in it.
No.
It was a very bog standard, basic match.
It could have easily been a Raw or SmackDown match. It wasn't a premium live event.
The problem is, we already know Rhea Ripley is so much better than this.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So it's clear who's dragging that match down.
Well,
because she's gimmickless. She's... I'm not going to say talentless because that's not fair. She has got talent.
She has.
She's
She's
just
got,
boring.
Anything.
She's got no spark.
Special. If you're one thing that you're using as your sets me apart thing is that you've got a muscly back.
It's not even that big.
She's got muscles, but you're in a business where half the women at least have a muscly back.
I'd probably go as far as 75%.
So it's not really a significant. It's not a draw. It's not a there's a term for it, but I can't think. It's not like it's not a connection. It's not something that you can grasp onto and be like, run unique
with it.
selling point.
It's not a gimmick. It's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's I have a back. Yeah, great. So does every other human being on the planet.
So she needs to do something. I think more in the personality/emotion side, because that's where the real stuff comes from. Like with LA Knight, it's all the personality. That's what's different about him. So if she could just get something that gives her that boost, it's why she's always in tag teams and stuff, isn't it? Because she needs something else.
Liv Morgan had that personality.
Yeah.
Shotzi had that personality.
But she could go.
Dakota
I'm
Kai.
so sure she could go far. She just needs to find that spark.
They just need to wipe the slate, start off with a proper actual gimmick, and run with it.
Yeah, I think so. So the only highlight, I guess, I put down, which, in all honesty, I missed completely till the replay, is Dominic comes out to interfere. He gets dragged into the ring, so I've been told.
So from what I can remember, because we were kind of talking back and forth as well, Rhea she's on the floor and she's being dragged by Raquel. Dominic's trying to drag Rhea up the ring and Dominic just kind of gets pulled in because she's so strong.
Back. Yeah, but he manages to cause a distraction, which gives Rhea an opening to hit the riptide and pin Raquel and win. And retain the championship.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever seen Raquel show any emotion is when she's like, oh, my knee. Oh,
yeah.
my knee.
She can sell.
You need a new gimmick.
Yeah.
You need something substantial. You need something to connect with the crowd, with the fans. You can't just go, I have a shoulder, I have a back. So what? I have a pen, I have a pineapple. Smack. Pineapple pen, right? Sorry, I had to get that in there.
With a different gimmick, she could still do the same pose. But I also sort of felt when she did her entrance that when she does her pose and they announce her, she's got her back to hard cam and she's sort of turning slightly. But that doesn't give the crowd a sense of hurt. All they're seeing is her back. Right?
Do you know what I've just twigged on? Do you know when you said that she's turning slightly? You know what that reminded me of? And I know you haven't played it yet. Resident Evil 1.
Oh.
The first time you see a zombie, it's kind of doing that turn. So now I'm going to associate a zombie with Raquel. Great, awesome.
Okay, new gimmick's a zombie, cool.
But like you could go along the lines of I don't know, just the superhero thing's been done. You could go along if she starts becoming more of a street fighter, like a brawler.
Yeah.
You could do it like that, like I'm a brawler, my hands are on my hips because I'm a street fighter.
Yeah.
That could work.
Definitely. And then you
Put
can
her
get
in a
really
different,
rough with stuff.
put her in a proper sort of a top. The I don't know. That top just looks really awkward to me, and I don't like the top. Put her in.
It shows
like,
off the back.
It's not a one piece. I just have like with a separate top and a separate shorts or trousers or whatever. Just have something like a thug or a brawler. I think that would work. I don't.
You could join Brawling Brutes.
I don't quite know what her. I don't really care enough about Raquel to look into it, but I'm not sure what her country of origin is. But you could run into that. She's from one of the gangs in.
I think they said she was from Mexico.
Is it? Yeah, she's one of the Mexican cartel. She could be something like that.
Yeah.
She could come out with a suit on as a cartel, take the suit jacket off, and then flex to go like, I'm the muscle. That would work because that's a gimmick. That's something you can attach to.
Yeah, something that
something
can be
based,
related. But...
something based in reality. Stone Cold Steve Austin worked because everyone at some point has wanted to punch their boss.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone can relate to it. The Rock
I
worked.
hope my boss doesn't watch this. I didn't mean that, honestly.
Well, no, past bosses.
Yeah, past bosses.
But then, like, The Rock, right? He came out and he would talk smack. And that was everyone. If you're trying to get into a fight, sometimes you'd like, oh, I don't really want to, you know. But The Rock was like the embodiment of that. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. I wish I could go to someone and go, I'm going to smack your ass, you jabroni, and all this kind of stuff, you know? LA Knight's the same. He's on that thing. Undertaker. Everyone's like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool to be like an undead entity that cannot be stopped? You've got that association, that almost like, I want to be that person. And then on the other hand, things you got like, I can't even think of anything right now. The Miz, for example, there you go. Movie star.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone's like, oh, I want to be in Hollywood. There's going to be people who goes, Mexican cartel, they're dominating our town, but some people look up to them.
Yeah, it's a power, isn't it?
You know, and it's like it's basing in that reality as well as setting it as a superhero kind of thing, like a bigger than life kind of thing. But she needs a gimmick. She can't just be like, I have shoulders.
Yeah. Just like normal person with back.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, didn't quite enjoy that one very much, but there we go. It's filler time.
Wait.
All right. John Cena, now in the same t-shirt he had on, with a jacket on and a bright pink bow tie just round his neck. He's saying, I decided to keep doing stuff I haven't done before, so now I'm a backstage correspondent, and I'm going to interview Finn Balor and Damien Priest, and they, because they're the new champs, so they get a bit of an interview. John Cena, he's definitely got the weird kind of acting thing happening. He sort of acts a bit childlike and like he's a deer in the headlights a lot of the time. It's definitely got that vibe from him. He's like, oh, that was harder than I thought. I think he hardly said any words.
I think that was kind of channeling what some of the announcers have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like you look at Renee Paquette on Dynamite a few weeks back, she was having a really bad time of it.
Oh yeah, she got like shoes chucked her and everything.
And I think that was kind of where he was going with it. Like sometimes like some, I can't remember the name of the correspondents in WWE now, but one of them's quite short. And she's kind of looking up at them, and Damien and Finn are quite big and they're intimidating.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to channel that and be like, sorry.
It was fun. It was fun. There was an ad for the next Premium Live event from WWE, which is Fastlane on October 7th.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't know if the India one counts. It doesn't count.
I don't think that's a PLE.
It's not a PLE. It's just a show.
I don't even know if it's on the network. I think I don't even know because they've not been pushing it. So.
There's an ad for documentary on Kurt Angle.
Yeah, which hit Peacock.
But nowhere else.
America apparently hates the rest of the world. I mean, we already knew that, but...
So, come on, guys. If it's not available elsewhere, just put it on the network.
We are paying for WWE Network, which is more expensive than Peacock in America, apparently. Stop screwing us.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They announced a match for Raw, which is Chad Gable versus Gunther in rematch.
And if Gunther wins this match, he will overtake Honky Tonk Man as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time.
WWE loves a record.
So I think he's a couple of days off it, so I didn't catch the full thing, but...
Yeah, and then they did a quick thank you to the Struts, who did the theme song for this for Payback.
I've seen those live twice. Good band.
They're really good.
They got a new album coming out. They
energy.
very much remind me of Queen. They've got that very same kind of energy to it.
So good. Check
It's got
them
a
out
good
if you
vocal range too, yeah.
Crazy vocal range. Guess what, though?
It's time for the main event.
Ooh, that was good. Oh, nice one. We'll have to snip that and just use it next time. So the main event we've got for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I already said.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I said before.
Sorry, my brain went into clipping things in the air. Yeah, sorry.
You got it. The World Heavyweight Championship, if you missed it. There we go. Come on, autocorrect. Don't worry about it. Okay, then. Seth Rollins in the ring. Crowd's woeing for ages. Ages and ages. So that's fun. Nakamura, before his entrance, he had a really cool vignette kind of thing with his voiceover, and it was sort of manga style art with Seth and him and showing what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I like that.
Obviously, he's talking in his own language, and they got the subtitles up, but in an artsy comic book style.
Don't get me wrong, Shin's one of my favourites, but his English is not great, and he can be very difficult to understand.
Yeah.
This was the right way to do it.
Yes.
Keep him in his native language. He sounds more of a posable threat. He sounds more, realistic because he's talking in his own language and he's used to speaking in it. And but this did remind me of the Xia Li stuff they did a few years ago.
Yes.
When they were doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. Loved it.
Yeah, and it's not a knock. I enjoyed that stuff as well.
Stuff.
And then where's Xia Li these days? Catering.
Yep. So then more woes for Nakamura's entrance, because both of them can have woes. They do show Great Mutas in the crowd, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm surprised he was there.
Yeah, it was great. And then we come to the match. So my highlights from this one. So they're both on the outside of the ring at this point, and Rollins climbs onto the barrier by the timekeeper's area. Shinsuke just picks him up and slams him onto the announce desk. And the commentators mention that one of the monitors
the corner
sticks into his back.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, like we mentioned in our predictions before, building up to this has been that Rollins' back is injured.
He has 2 fractures, compound fractures.
Shinsuke has quite a regular spot that he does where he gets a wrestler down. He'll be in the corner yelling at to get up, and then he'll kick him in the face, I think, the thing he does. And there was one point where Rollins is down, is quite far into the match, and he's beckoning to get up, and he just keeps beckoning and keeps getting more frustrated because Seth Rollins just isn't getting up. I think he did that so well with the emotion that was, the frustration that was coming out.
He's waiting for that killing blow.
Yeah, and he just couldn't get it because he wasn't getting up. But at the same time then, he's down, so go get the win.
So is that Seth playing into it with the injury, or is that Seth being smart, being like, I know what's coming?
I reckon it's the injury they're playing in.
But it kind of leads it open to that, which is kind of cool, and I like that kind of the storytelling of that. It's like, I don't quite know if it's that or that. It could be either.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of ambiguity in storytelling. Leave it to people's imagination a bit, right?
Play Resident Evil, Sound Hill, you get ambiguity of the wazoo. Sound Hill more than Resident Evil, but yeah. Oof.
And then, anything you want to add before we get to the finish?
The commentators did mention this is the first time that Shinsuke Nakamura is main evented a pay-per-view. Yes. Sorry, premium live event. But technically pay-per-view does count because it's going to be in the last couple of years. Pay-per-views. That is disgusting.
Yeah,
that is awful.
Really surprised me.
He had 3, I think back at the time they were pay-per-views in 2018, matches with AJ Styles for the heavyweight championship. And yet none of them were main events because Roman Reigns was stuck in the spot instead, or someone else. And it's like, are you kidding me? Shinsuke Nakamura is a legend in Japan.
Yeah. He's just being
disgusting.
Just used. But
Shinsuke Nakamura, I believe, has headlined Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome. And yet he's never main event a PLE until last night.
Insane.
That's awful.
It is really.
Awful.
Which quite neatly brings us to the finish, I suppose. Rollins stomps.
Takes him like 10 seconds to get in the pin as well. So I'm like, oh, Shin's going to kick out. He's going to kick out. He's going to... Wait, what?
Yeah, he just lies there.
Way to make Shinsuke Nakamura weak.
I know they've had a lot of back and forth, but Shinsuke felt like he was dominant for most of it. Really. I know it goes up and down. It always does. But it didn't feel like the right ending.
No.
I have no problem. Rollins could have won. Fine. And no problem with Rollins winning. But
I'd rather check.
Not like that.
Yeah, that was awful.
Underwhelming for sure, but the rest of the match was great.
It was decent. I wouldn't say it was great myself.
Well, I've written not a bad match, so I guess great's me exaggerating after the fact.
Yeah. Compared to some of the matches in this card, it was great. This is a better match of the contender than Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus.
Oh, definitely.
So did we say that Rhea Ripley won and we got that right?
Oops,
I don't think we did. So we had that one right.
Cool.
And we had this one right too, so we predicted Seth to retain.
I felt with this match, he sold his back injury really well. Obviously, he's great. But selling it this well put that contrast in that he has not been selling a back injury for the past however many months.
4 years,
they were saying.
They said he's had this injury for 4 years.
So either, in storyline, he's been hiding it so well during all of these matches, and now he's like, oh, I don't have to hide it anymore, so I'll just show the pain, maybe? Or is all false?
No, it's all false. And they're going, the fans won't notice, don't worry about it. Because they think we're stupid.
It's like they're trying to trick us into thinking we've just remembered the past wrong.
They're gaslighting. Or Mandela reflecting.
Come on, guys. Come on. Or he could have just sold it less because he's been selling it less the rest of the time. So why is it any more obvious now than before, you know? Yeah. Maybe could have done that a bit better. But no, they probably just said, sell the back injury. And he's like, for sure, I'll do it. That's what it feels like anyway.
Yeah.
So closing the show off, they recap the highlights from the show we just watched. Just for anyone who might have fallen asleep. I don't know.
They usually do that at WrestleMania because it is a long show.
Yes.
This felt stupid.
It's like, why? We literally just watched this happen. Why are you showing us again? No one's just tuned in at the end and was like, oh, what's just happened? Unless they weren't paying attention or fell asleep.
Oh, Payback. Oh, I'm in the wrong time zone. Oh, let's get the quick. We probably should have done that. We should have just watched the highlight package and got all we needed to know from that.
Yeah.
That would have saved us about 3 hours and 20 minutes.
It really would.
Okay,
final thoughts?
So, what,
other bits?
No, so we'll do the usuals first. So what was your favourite match?
My favourite match was Sami and KO versus Judgment Day.
For me, that's a close second. I still think it was LA Knight and The Miz.
Yeah.
Because of the main storytelling in that.
Fair
the
enough.
main storytelling in the tag match was Judgment Day and JD McDonough getting involved. I think The Miz and LA Knight had a really great storytelling in their match, especially with Cena as the ref.
It really was. I feel like for me, it was the amount of high spots and all the different stuff going on. The pacing was great. And I agree.
I agree.
Interesting bits and bins.
I agree. But I think sometimes you do risk it getting a bit too much.
Yeah, you do. I feel this one didn't.
No, that's fine. No, I'm not saying it did.
We were allowed to disagree.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it did get too much because it was the right amount. But for me, I think that The Miz and LA Knight was a better showing for me personally.
Yeah,
least favourite match. I think I already know the answer to this.
Ripley versus Rodriguez.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still going with Becky and Becky and Trish.
I feel like at least that there were some interesting things happening in that match, and there was the story behind it with Ripley and Rodriguez. There's just no build up apart from they've attacked each other once or twice, and just not much really happened.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Becky Lynch to Stratus build up was just flatlining.
Yeah, it was.
Let's be perfectly honest.
It was starting to flatline. But at least there was something.
It's been flatlining since the beginning.
That's why I chose it anyway.
I mean, for me, in that sense, for me, the Rhea Raquel match didn't have any bad downsides. It was just a match that didn't have any high spots, like any With the Trish Stratus Becky Lynch match, they went to that cage way too many times.
Fair enough.
And that for me put the downer on the match, and that's why that's my least favourite match of the night.
Well, I thought we would agree on at least one of these things.
So, okay, here we go. So, 2 hours and 25 minutes, roughly, it's like 24 and change where we were. So it's 205 minutes, okay? Right. We had, rounded up from seconds, I might add, 110 minutes of in-ring action. That's 95 minutes of filler and entrances. Ooh. That's over an hour and a half, okay? Ooh. Out of the entire card, 54% of the PLE was actual bell-to-bell wrestling.
Wow, there you go.
54%. If I paid... Like, if they were still doing pay-per-view, and you had to pay to get this, in that sense, and you're paying $30, $40, $50, whatever it is, I'd be livid.
Think about it, the people actually in that arena...
Yeah, that's right.
They don't see a lot of the filler. They might see a couple of bits on the screens. They're just watching an empty ring for all that time. And when I remember All In from last week, match after match after match, you barely had time to go to the toilet in between, which some people might see as a negative.
You literally had to go during a match because you couldn't hold it anymore.
That makes me sound terrible. But yeah, I mean...
Well, no, because you were at that point, you were like 4 hours in.
Yeah, it was... If I go between the match, I'll miss the entrance of the next one, and I want to see that entrance, so I'll have to go now while the match is on.
And you still got back in time for the end of the match as well.
I did. It was great. So it's just that contrast, and
now what
like
I will
say, it's what you're paying for.
Yeah, and what I will do for anyone who doesn't watch our AEW stuff, just in case it's piquing your curiosity, AEW All Out is happening tonight in Chicago, and Chicago. Okay, hang on. So I will do the exact same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I will see how long the event is. I will take the timings, including the 0 hour, just to be fair.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they wouldn't be fair because I didn't count the pre-show.
No.
Because if that's the case, the pre-show adds another hour of filler on. Yeah. So I will not do the pre-show, even though I know for a fact there is a match on the pre-show for All Out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta keep it fair.
So we'll keep it just the pay-per-view itself, and I can call it that because it's AEW, it's a pay-per-view. Start to finish, bell to bell times, and we will get the percentage. Okay. And I reckon it will be in the 80s, if not 90s.
Yeah, most likely. There we go.
Come at me, WWE Max. It's a wrestling show, not an advert show, not a filler show.
Yeah, agreed.
Speaking of All Out, this kind of harkens back to WWE as well.
Yeah. CM
Punk has found himself fired from another company. AEW have fired CM Punk because he's toxic.
Yeah, related to the backstage altercation.
With Jack Perry and the one with Elite. They should have done it when he messed with the Elite last year.
Interestingly, Jack Perry has not been fired as far as we're aware.
He's still on suspension.
Still suspended.
So he's still serving suspension. But if you want to know more about that, check out our All Out reactions tomorrow. Yeah. Because we'll cover that in a bit more detail tomorrow.
So overall for this event, how are you feeling?
Meh.
Payback. Mid.
I think it was, some of the matches drew it up a bit higher than what I was expecting. Yeah. LA Knight, the Steel City Street Fight, and bits of Rollins and Nakamura. Rhea and Raquel was flat. Becky and Lynch was awful.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Becky and Trish was awful. And Austin Theory and Rey Mysterio, that only ran for less than 10 minutes, mind.
Yeah, that was
less than 10 minutes. The finish was awful. 619, stop using it so much. I just think that was a really bad disservice to Austin Theory myself.
Yeah.
I don't particularly care for Austin Theory, but I feel like he got screwed. Less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because of the Grayson Waller effect.
And all the filler.
Screw off. Hate it.
Yeah, I agree that it was better than I expected, this event. I did enjoy it more than I expected, but definitely some low points. But overall, the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff just a tiny little bit for me.
Not by much.
Tiny little bit.
It's still on the same sort of level as SummerSlam right now, though, which was just dud.
Definitely mid.
Mid. At best.
There we go.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it from me.
What we got next?
Next is our All Out reactions.
Yeah, so All Out's happening tonight. We'll watch it tomorrow after work. We'll try and record our reactions tomorrow, but that won't be up until Tuesday. Because obviously editing and whatnot, so that'll be up Tuesday.
Yes.
One way or another.
There we go. So thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe. And hit the bell to be notified when we drop new videos. Oh dear. I've done this so many times.
That was a train wreck.
Fine, you know what I'm saying. Follow us on socials. Our link trees in the description below, which will take you to Instagram, Facebook, and X. It'll take me a while to say that properly. We'll put our weekly update stuff on our socials every week so you can see what's coming up and join in the conversation. Let us know in the comments what your favourite or least favourite match was and why, if you fancy telling us. Join in the conversation, and until next time, we'll see you
All Out.
All Out. Bye!
Yeah, bye!
Bye!